Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Yes, it is possible to communicate with animals. I've witnessed it. I've seen it. She can do it. And there's so many different reasons you might want to. We love our pets. Always wonder what they're thinking. How can we better support them, especially if you detect a medical issue or maybe they're going through something. Here's one thing that I never thought of, and this is another way that she supports people. Lost pets. Wow. Let's talk about that today. Holly Starr, she's an animal communicator and she's back with us. How are you doing today?
Very good.
I never even considered what you do in regard to helping locate our lost pet and bring them home. Wow.
Mhm.
How could that work? How does that work?
Yes. Well, so it's just like any other animal communication topic. You connect in that same exact way. This lost animals are a specific challenge because the more time that goes, the further they get from home, the more scary things they encounter. So you're now talking with a pet that is fearful, anxious. They don't know where they are. A lot of people
Mm.
want them to be able to read the street signs, and say, I'm on this street. And that just doesn't happen. So it presents a unusual challenge when communicating with them because messages can become muddled, and we are now trying to locate an animal that we don't physically really know where they are. So it's an interesting topic. So I'd like to use today to just kind of guide people through what they can do to help that communication be as top notch as it can from their pet.
Such an uneasy feeling that you bring, but it's the reality. A pet is
Mm-hmm.
missing. Your member of your family's gone. And then to think that they're out there somewhere and you don't know where they are. Uh, I had a scare 2 years ago with my cat, and back then he was a kitten, and the door was just ajar. Somebody left it ajar. I was in such despair, freak mode.
Mm-hmm.
Walked around the neighborhood looking everywhere. If I knew of you, it would have minimized a lot of stress. Um, Asking people, and I just came back, sat on the couch, and just thinking of him out there as a baby, hanging in a
Mm-hmm.
tree, looking. And then I heard I'm like, what was that? And he comes walking from the upstairs to the downstairs. Apparently, he was in a closet, and I
Yeah.
looked trust me, I looked everywhere. And since that day, always triple checking the door. But I'll
Yes.
admit it, I'm a grown man. I was crying. I was just
Oh,
despondent,
yes.
just walking around, just and like, again, thinking they're out there, and it was, early fall, so it's going to get chilly at night, and just,
Yeah.
but in that if we did that situation over again, is it reasonable to think I could have contacted you and maybe you would
Mhm.
have given me some insight where he may be?
Yes. Yep. So first off, you are not the only person that has done that.
Oh, I know.
We have to strip our closets clean to find them sometimes. So yeah, so in that instance, if you had called, I would have been able to feel the darkness around him. And then also when they are inside of some type of space, I can usually feel like, okay, they are confined. And with a closet being so small, I would have felt that as, these are walls. It's a dark room, walls. He doesn't feel stressed because anxiety wasn't there because he's home. That kind of stuff. And so that would have cued us into okay, he's either hiding somewhere in the house or he is right near your house and, even under the porch type of
Mm.
situation.
Uh, um, how specific can you get with that? Let's say, just use my cat Rocco as an example. Here we are in that situation. Um, would you know that he's in the home potentially? Would you know he's in the area and safe? Well, and every situation is different. Every animal is
Yes.
different. There's everything is different. But yeah, and sort of as a baseline in doing this kind of work, what do you think could have come back?
Yeah. So a lot of times I ask, how did you get out of the house or why did you leave? And so in that situation, I
Mm.
probably would have received back either, what do you mean? I'm scared of the outside. I didn't go outside, like stuff like that.
That makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? I'm in a blanket right now, feeling
Yeah.
great.
What are you talking about?
What time is dinner? Come on. Uh, Amazing that you can do this. Now, uh, what about those strays? The maybe a
Yes.
feral cat. Even, move this over to the side. You adopt a cat, but you don't know its history, and you want
Mhm.
to better support them. Maybe there's some triggers there. Tell us about all that.
Yeah. So with feral cats and like half feral, like they kind of let humans come up and stuff like that, but they've been living in your neighborhood and you're kind of taking care of them and stuff like that. So I have found stray cats are so interesting to me because I have found that when I connect in with them and tell them, this person has been taking care of you and they haven't seen you for, however many days. Can you at least just come back, show them that you're okay, and then you can go back to whatever you're doing? They come back.
Wow.
Pretty much always happens. They, within the next day or so, they will make their way back, be seen, and then continue on, being an outside cat. But I just find it so extremely interesting because the feeling that I get from it is that they care that they are being cared for by these people, and by them also having somebody reach out to them and specifically say, hey, so and so is worried about you, go show them yourself. They
Mm.
recognize, like, oh my gosh, they care about me, and they want that love. And so they go show themselves and kind of recognize that appreciation from that human, like, thank you, here I am, I'm okay, thank you.
Now, as I understand it, you can't change the behavior of an animal, but like let's say it's a feral, and let's say just somebody loves cats and they're in the neighborhood and maybe they leave food or whatever the situation is.
Mhm.
Can you send a message to an animal like that, to let them know that, yeah, this is a place for you. It's safe. I don't want to say tame them, but just kind of temper them down a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a few, so beyond animal communication, but to answer your question, yes, absolutely. I can show them, this person is safe. Go here, this person is safe. Beyond that, I do recommend like saging around your outside space so that it's getting rid of, any scary energies, not scary, but like more lower energies. So it's more welcoming to them. And then I also follow a couple of meditations that basically allows you and or your house, your yard, to become like a beacon of light. So it's just very positive energy that just kind of, they're just attracted to that. It's safe, it's healthy, it's loving. So they come on in. And I do tell people, if you're going to do that to yourself, which I have done it to myself, every so often I do. But when you do, the strays start to show up. They really do.
Wow.
You'll be out driving, stray dog, and so I tell people, do this at a time, if you are super stressed in life, don't do it. Because if you are going to open yourself up like that, they are going to come seeking help from you. And you need to be able to stop your car, stop what you're doing, get out and go help the dog. And it's inconvenient. It truly is. But
Wow.
they need help. So when you are in that place in life where you can, I highly encourage you to do that. People can reach out to me for those meditations on that as well.
You run deeper than I thought in terms of energy, and you mentioned saging. Thank you for the reminder. I'm overdue. This place needs a sage. Just keeping it clean. In terms of energy, interesting. Interesting that we recognize that, and for others are looking at us, look at those two woo-woo people. What are they talking about over there? Everything is energy. It's been proven. Some dude, I don't know what's his name, Einstein, uh, brought that to the forefront many years ago. People weren't listening. We're all energy, and sometimes that energy can get negative. Sometimes the energy can get bad, and who better to understand energy than an animal who doesn't have to worry about paying the rent,
Mhm.
cell phone bill, social media, and all of that. All they do is focus on you and life and energy. And I believe that's why this works so well, because they're able to pick up on what you're sending in terms of energy. And
Yes.
for that to work also, it's been said you need to be grounded. Who better
Mhm.
grounded than a creature with four paws touching the ground and no shoes? You know?
Yes. And so, beyond animal communication, you can also just use the energy and your intuition to find animals as well. So, for
Hmm.
example, there was I used to drive a certain route within every single day, and I knew that I had seen stuff on Facebook saying, this white dog is around this area, and I was like, oh, I'm driving around here anyways. I'll tune into that and see if I can feel the dog. And I knew about where people were looking, and the energy told me, like, no, they need to pull back more. It's further down the road, it's further down. And so next time I went out there, I was specifically watching for the dog right around that area that was said, like, go back that way. And there was the dog.
Wow.
I looked out into a field, and there's the white dog out there. Um, Now, also remembering, this was a really good lesson for myself. You have to make sure that your ego does not get in the way of the energy while you are helping lost animals. So, for example, I basically pushed it just a teeny bit too far, and the dog ran away from me. And so we weren't able to get it that day. We were able to set the trap right there, and the dog sniffed it that night. And then there was a sighting the next day, and the dog went into the trap that night.
Wow.
If I had not pushed it like that and just called the parent, that dog very well may have just come to the parent and not had to spend another day outside like that. So we got to remember, let the energy do its job. Just work with the animal and let it do its job. Don't let your ego get in the way and push boundaries and stuff.
Based on the last few times that we got together, I tried something yesterday morning.
Okay.
One of our two cats, he's a little skitterish. He's mushy when he wants to be, and he's not as mushy as the other one, but still fantastic. And it was in the morning, and I'm talking to my daughter in her room, and he's, kind of meandering. He jumps up on the bed, and he's, just kind of like doing his thing. And I mentally sent a picture to him of me petting him and being very friendly and loving him up and everything. It wouldn't have been more than maybe 3 seconds. He turns and he walks right over, and I'm just petting him more. Oh, it was all good. He actually stayed extended period of time. Then I think he was hungry, so he's waiting for something to eat as well. Um, he jumps off the bed, and I said to my daughter, I said, I don't know if you see what just happened there. She goes, yeah, it was kind of weird. I said, I mentally sent a picture to him that I was going to pet him. We were going to be extra loving and sweet and nice to him. And now she's working on that. and,
Nice.
and
Yes.
I've done it before, even with my other cat and my dog.
Mhm.
Many can say, be skeptical. Oh, it's just a coincidence, whatever. It's happened regularly too many times for it to be a coincidence.
Yes, yes. And it's not a coincidence. That is animal communication. And what you're also doing is basically, so animals have very sensitive energy. So if we just go up to them, we're basically like barging into their energy. Some animals are okay with that, but those more anxious ones or skittish ones, or just, physical touch isn't their top love language, those guys are going to be like, whoa, personal space, please. So what you're doing with sending that mental image is basically preparing them, like,
Mhm.
I want to do this. Can we do this? And him coming up to you was him saying, yes, come into my energy. Yes.
Yep.
So it's, you got to ease into that into that space sometimes.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works. And my for my next trick, uh, when I'm having people over, I'm going to send a message to them that they are safe because we don't. I
Yeah.
think I shared with you one in particular, the mushy
Hmm.
one. Um, he would be totally fine walking out and seeing people and getting pet. Who wouldn't? Um, but just having people around and different voices and everything, he's still I don't know about that.
Exactly.
And I didn't think of that a couple of weeks ago when I had some people over for a gathering, and I should
Mhm.
have, because I guarantee and he's very receptive to everything. He probably would have in a heartbeat come out and waited for to get pet. Um, I'm
Yes.
still intrigued that you can send a message to a lost animal where you don't even know where it is, what it's doing, and do you need a picture for that as well? Like somebody show you a picture on their phone or whatever it might be.
I prefer one, especially in that instance. I can absolutely connect with them without a picture. It's just a more confident connection if I have a picture.
Hmm.
If I don't, I just explain the energy that I'm feeling, and then we go in just a little bit slower so that I can get adjusted to who I'm talking to and everything. So yeah, it just takes, I don't know, teeny bit longer to get in there.
Woo woo alert. Do you think by looking at the picture, it's my belief, and I've witnessed this in many different ways, that even a picture has an energy imprint. Any picture you look at, there's the energy of the person or being within that. Do
Hmm.
you think that you're able to connect with their energy better because you looked at that picture based on, the energy coming off of it?
That very well could be. I've never thought about that, to be honest. And so when I look at the pictures, I look into their eyes and then I start to feel their energy from there. And it can be very instantaneous. I
Hmm.
look and I feel anxiety, or I look and I feel a very social outlook. So yeah, I would probably agree with that statement. Yeah.
I equate it to when somebody says to somebody else, "Hey, praying for a great outcome," or positive vibes for that surgery, and or it can be somebody that they're connected with. Let's say your friend Jennifer's mom is going in for surgery. She's in 5 states over. You've never met her, but you say, "Yeah, I'm sending lots of positive thoughts for your mom," and many times. You'll get a report back. Yeah, everything went great. Fantastic. There was a complication, but it was all fine. Everything great. Do you think it's it's the same thing
Yeah.
that we're sending positive energy and you're able to connect because you're mentally connecting
Mhm.
with the person of the pet and it's somehow it's getting transferred to the pet?
Yes, yes. The energy of the person matters as well. I have been on within sessions where the client was interrupted a couple of times or just for some reason seemed disconnected, and it everybody needs to be in the conversation. So a lot of times, like if somebody is possibly going to be interrupted, I just like to reschedule because I'm like, this is, we have to have the highest good for your pet in mind here, and that means
Mm.
our 100% attention.
Wow. It still blows my mind. And in the last number of years
My
getting better.
mind too.
It's like, you like shock yourself when you find a lost pad or something happens, like that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, energy blows my mind all the time, probably almost daily. It's just because it's not, energetics are not physical. It's not your brain. So your brain is saying, I can't see this. So how is this happening? But when you look at the energetics, it makes sense. It's interesting when you look at the way that physics works, and like you were talking about Einstein earlier, energy is everywhere, it's everything. So I like to read these books. I oftentimes have to read the paragraphs several times to fully grasp it. But these physics books really explain this stuff.
Mm,
Quite well. I mean, they are showing, this is the way that our world is made up.
yeah. Yeah. And I think we're finally opening up to it a little bit
Mm,
more.
yeah.
Even the connection to a pet that had passed on, which is
Mhm.
something you can do. And I've worked with some of the biggest psychic mediums on the planet and witnessed what they do.
Mhm.
And legit people, like friends as well, help launch media careers for them. I'm not the psychic connoisseur, it just came to me. But I would look at it and I'd still be skeptical. What's going on there? And even push a little bit more. Let's see. I'd even have them as guests on the radio and even push them like, oh, really? Okay, let's go deeper. I knew it was real, but I never really grasped the energy thing until my
Mm,
mom passed 5 years ago. And
yes.
I get signs, signals. She sends me very specific stuff. There's no way that it's it, it's what's going on. And so I'm bringing this up because when somebody's not here, person, pet, the energy is still here. And I
Mhm.
believe that's what you're tapping into, the energy that's still around.
Yes.
You feel that's how you're doing it? What's going on there in a
Absolutely.
communicated way?
Yeah. Yeah. Because even if they are transitioned, even if they are lost, their energy is still exists.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
that's what the connection is. It's a soul to soul, energy to energy. I tell people all the time, because they'll ask, oh, do you need my dog to be like on the camera too? Do you need my cat right here? And I say, no, they're totally fine. They can be in surgery. They can be
Yep.
asleep, whatever they want to be doing. So yeah, it really truly is just energy to energy. That's it.
If anybody wants to even go deeper, it's the chords. Have chords with everybody, everything that we've ever connected
Mm.
with. Sometimes you want to cut the cord. Relationship's not working anymore, and there's negativity. And there's tons of videos out there of how to do it. It's very simple, but to the point that we're making here, there is connections. You don't see them, but energetic
Mhm.
connections everywhere, even to the pets that have passed on. Holly,
Yes.
how do we connect with you if we want to make a connection to our pets?
My website is Holly Joy Starr, HOLLYJOYSTARR.com. And then you can find me on Facebook as Holly Starr Animal Communicator.
Looking for answers from your pet? It's right over here. Holly, thank you so much for being here today, and
Thank you.
refresh that you run deeper than I ever thought in terms of this energy thing. But it basically explains how you do what you do. I appreciate it.
Yes. Yes. You're
All right.
welcome.
We'll talk soon. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.